Enforcement back on El Cajon's City Council agenda. Details coming up.
We know where the areas are that we need to focus on, and the city is fully focused on those areas.
What city leaders are doing ahead of the incoming rain.
A judge upholds the adult conviction of a San Diego cop killer. More for the courtroom coming up.
As Penga boats loaded with migrants continue to show up on our coast, some say rescue missions by San Diego lifeguards are diverting resources from other emergencies.
When it comes to electric vehicles, big changes from the Trump administration and what that could mean for all new car buyers.
Want to become a professional wrestler, but you don't know how?
Primal Pro Wrestling!
Show you the ropes!
Seen a lot of crazy videos of the 5, but this one was wild, and I was right there for it.
A rush hour rescue as drivers race to save a runaway dog on Interstate 5. CBS 8 News Live at 6 starts right now.
San Diego leaders are on high alert and urging everyone to take precautions ahead of incoming rain. Thanks for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
I'm Marcella Lee. Rain is expected as early as tomorrow morning. The storm will be the biggest we've seen in nearly a year, and the city of San Diego isn't taking any chances, with officials enacting its storm patrol. It's a group of 300 staff members who go out and monitor more than 46,000 storm drains.
Be sure that we're as prepared as possible, that we don't have any clogged drains or any areas, and everything's clear and at full capacity for when the rain hits.
City crews have done street sweeping and put up no parking signs in low-lying areas. Road closures are being planned for areas that typically flood. There's also concern of potential mudslides in recent burn areas. If your home or business is prone to flooding, free sandbags are available. We have those locations where you can pick them up, and more storm-related tips on our website, cbs8.com. Just click on the digital version of the story. For more on the rain now, we turn to Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis.
Yeah, more on what we can expect from this incoming storm. It's on its way, and it's got a lot, it sounds like.
It does, especially on Thursday. And we were just talking about the sandbags. So if people think back to when we had atmospheric rivers before, if your business flooded, if your home flooded, it's a good time to utilize those sandbags, because we are looking at some showers starting tomorrow with a heavier rainfall arriving on Thursday. So for our weather impact headlines, we are talking about some heavy rainfall back in that forecast, high threat when it does come to flood concerns, and so a flood watch has been issued. So we're looking at rain chances ramping up starting tomorrow. So it's going to be on the light to moderate side, but then we get the heavier stuff, and that's going to be on Thursday, and especially Thursday night through Friday morning, early Friday morning, even a chance that we could see an isolated thunderstorm or two. So that leads to downpours, especially when you're talking about heavy rainfall, and so we do urge you to turn around, don't drown. If you see a flooded roadway, you never know how deep it is. It is always best to turn around instead of driving through it. So a flood watch has been issued by the National Weather Service, but it won't go into effect until 1 p.m. on Thursday, lasting all the way through the early morning hours for Friday from the coast to the mountains. So we will go ahead and take a look at the details with the rain forecasted, and also kind of time it out a little bit more in your complete forecast coming up. Back to you, Carlo.
Thanks, Carlene. And remember, for the latest weather conditions and alerts on the go, you can download the free CBS 8 app from Google Play or the App Store. We head now to the East County, where immigration enforcement is back on the El Cajon City Council agenda. This is the third time in as many months the council is taking up the issue.
CBS 8's Kirsten Holmes was at last month's meeting, and she's back again at tonight's meeting. Good evening, Kirsten. What's happening tonight?
Good evening. Now, I talked to Mayor Wells before today's City Council meeting got started, and he told me he thought this was a done deal 2 weeks ago after it was voted down. But then he says another City Council member made some changes to the resolution, and they both brought it back before the City Council today.
What's different this time is I offered an amendment to the mayor to see if we could get this passed, because all of us agree we're not a sanctuary city.
El Cajon City Council member Steve Goebel says his goal is to make sure law enforcement is protected.
But if we're going to talk about using our police officers to the extent allowed by law, I want to make it very clear that we have their backs. And so I am asking for an amendment to seek indemnification from the U.S. Attorney General's office for anything that we might do lawfully in the course of duties.
I think that, they should vote with their heart the way they did the prior time, which is listen to their constituents, reject an anti-immigrant resolution that would impact people who live in El Cajon and people who do business in El Cajon.
Pedro Rios with the American Friends Service Committee and a group of protesters met at noon on Tuesday to raise their concerns about the resolution at the heart of El Cajon's City Council meeting. The wording says it's a resolution of the City Council of the City of El Cajon declaring the city's commitment to ensure the public safety of all residents and asserting the city's intent to comply with federal immigration law to the legal extent permissible for the sole purpose of removing violent criminals from our community. It goes on to say the city will seek indemnification from the U.S. Attorney for actions taken by El Cajon's police officers. Goebel says that means this time the resolution protects police. Rio says he's still against the new amendment.
There probably has been some strong arming taking place. Maybe the mayor was getting his council members to fall in line and suggesting that if they don't, then maybe they'll have political backlash from people that support them.
57% of the people that live in El Cajon voted for Donald Trump just a couple months ago. They knew exactly where Donald Trump stood on immigration. That was the hallmark of his campaign. So I think if you really want to look at what the people think, they think that immigration needs to be reformed.
Now, it is a packed house inside of the City of El Cajon's City Council chamber with people on both sides of the issue in line waiting to speak out and let their voices be heard. Now, we've also heard that threatening voice messages have been sent to some elected officials here in the city of El Cajon. When I asked Mayor Wells about that, he says that does happen from time to time on issues like this, but he does not support or condone that type of activity. We'll keep you posted on how the vote turns out. Reporting for CBS 8, I'm Kirsten Holmes. Back to you.
All right, Kirsten, thanks. A man who shot and killed an Oceanside police officer when he was 17 years old was sentenced again for the crime today.
CBS 8's Alex Cheney joins us live with more on the new sentence and why this is all happening. Alex.
Yeah, that's right. The defense team for Mecky Guyano tried to have his case resentenced into juvenile court today. However, a judge upheld the adult conviction.
It was an assassination. It wasn't a shootout. It was an assassination.
A judge in San Diego Superior Court ruled this afternoon that convicted cop killer Mecky Guyano will not have his case transferred to juvenile court. In 2009, Guyano was convicted of first-degree murder for killing Oceanside police officer Daniel Besant in 2006. At the time of the murder, Guyano was 17 years and 10 months old. He was tried as an adult and sentenced to life without parole plus 61 years. However, due to recent changes in state law, certain juvenile offenders like Guyano can have their cases be transferred back to juvenile proceedings, which could have freed him from a life sentence.
Yes, Your Honor.
In Guyano's resentencing hearing this afternoon, the judge imposed a revised sentence of 51 years plus life without the possibility of parole.
This case now has been transferred to adult court. It is done in the adult court, and we're hoping that this could be the end of Mr. Guyano's case and get some closure for the families.
It is a murder that sent shockwaves through the Oceanside community in 2006, as police officers lost a colleague, a family lost their son, a wife her husband, and a young father.
When I think of the chance of Mecky being released and my wife being at the bank or the grocery store or the post office or walking on the pier in Oceanside and running into him, that gives me shudders.
In an instant, a family's life was changed forever.
I miss my Danny boy every day.
Now get this, because of another law change concerning juveniles being tried as adults, Guyano will have another chance for parole coming up in about 8 years. Reporting live in downtown San Diego, I'm Alex Cheney, CBS 8.
Thank you, Alex. One man prevented a house fire from turning into an even bigger tragedy.
That house caught fire on Manzano Way in Bay Terraces last night. Christian Hernandez woke up in the middle of the night after smelling smoke and hearing fire alarms. He woke up his girlfriend, then went to get his dog, his uncle, grandparents, and great-grandmother.
And I went to my grandpa's window in the master bedroom. I was yelling for them to come out, and he was waiting on my grandma, but luckily she made it through the front door.
4 people were injured, 3 with burns, 1 with smoke inhalation. All survived. San Diego Fire Rescue says the fire looks like an accident, possibly started by an appliance on the second floor. but they're still investigating.
New tonight, there's concern that water rescues off San Diego's coast involving migrants are putting a strain on lifeguards. 2 weeks ago, a woman died when a panga capsized off Ocean Beach.
Now lifeguards say they need more resources to handle these dangerous rescues. CBS 8's Abby Black shows us why.
As panga boats loaded with migrants continue to show up on our coast, some say rescue missions by San Diego lifeguards are diverting resources from other emergencies.
A woman died 2 weeks ago when a panga capsized off Ocean Beach. Drone footage captured the chaotic scene. The Coast Guard confirms it was 20 migrants who were clinging to their overturned vessel as waves crashed around them, some swimming toward the jetty.
Our members have made some heroic efforts to save lives, and one of the most recent ones was in Ocean Beach.
Sergeant Connor Robbins is the chief steward for the Lifeguard Union Teamsters 911. Their mission, save lives regardless of legal status. Now, when human smuggling is suspected, lifeguards say that they alert the Joint Harbor Operations Center, a hub of federal agencies, but they say rescue comes first.
Regardless of someone's status, we're performing that duty for anyone who's in trouble.
Looking at the numbers, water rescues have remained steady since President Trump took office, comparable to the first 3 weeks of former President Biden's term in 2021. But there's growing concern about the strain on resources, especially with just 8 lifeguards covering overnight shifts.
When you are entering high surf in the middle of the night in the cold, you want to have some support there alongside you because it's a dangerous environment.
The union's request for 2 additional lifeguards was denied last year. A spokesperson for San Diego Fire Rescue maintains we are not overwhelmed and will continue to provide emergency services regardless of the environment or type of service needed.
There's so many things that could go wrong.
Retired lifeguard Sergeant Frank Powell continues to advocate and is more direct about the challenges.
You have the lifeguards responding, and let's say at the same time there's an incident in Mission Bay, someone trying to swim across the channel, a boat catches on fire. There's no one to respond.
The mayor's office declined to comment beyond fire rescue's statement, but Powell insists more needs to be done.
The city needs to get more involved and really look at how many boats are coming in.
Reporting at La Jolla Shores, Abby Black, CBS 8.
Thank you, Abby. The Gaylord Pacific Resort in Chula Vista is nearing its grand opening, and several organizations are preparing for a hiring blitz to be ready for guests on opening day, which is expected to be, we're told, within the next few months. The resort and the San Diego Workforce Partnership are hosting a job fair series at Southwestern College Library next month. They'll be held on March 7th, 8th, 14th, 15th, and 16th from 10 in the morning until 6 in the evening. All the information is on your screen right now. They're looking to fill hundreds of jobs in guest services, hotel operations, and at the resort's 12 restaurants and bars. A rush hour rescue brings traffic to a standstill on Interstate 5, and it was all caught on camera.
We'll have that story still ahead. Plus, the new details we're learning about a deadly plane crash in Arizona.
And we'll introduce you to the Southern California teen whose invention is now helping firefighters in their battles against wildfires. What it does and how it works, that's still ahead.